World of YouTube, true crime, material for sight, and everything else. I got a little something that seemed a little interesting to me from the Delphi murders, and it's friggin' oh man. And this is supposedly a forensic filist. I know everybody says don't listen to this crap, don't read into this crap, but you know what? Everybody's got an opinion. Everybody's got their right to say First Amendment, freedom of speech. But sometimes when people do say something, something does come out of it. Very interesting. But in this case, the something interesting, yeah, it got me thinking. But then, what this person didn't do, being a forensic filer, as he says or she says, or whatever, they did not think of the theory of what I came up with. So we'll just dive right into that. But it makes me curious, though, that, how, someone can come up with this, but not come out with the simple fact or this other thought, theory, idea. It's very interesting. Very interesting. As I will read it, and as you know, people, I'm sure, are starting to get the hint that I like to hold everybody in suspense. But we'll get into this. No suspense today. But anyways, I work in forensics. Got you again. I work in forensics. And I can tell you DNA and fingerprints aren't what it's like on TV. Which, right, they say they have DNA. And they say that one of the girls fought the attacker. But that right there, as we will read into this, is a huge question. Do they have any skin samples under them fingernails? Did they pull anything out of them? Of course, we don't know. That was someone I'd like to know, because they said one of them girls fought like hell. But yet, and anyways, usually the prints aren't even full. I mean, sometimes that's, obvious. There's been a lot of cases that a lot of prints came up weren't even full. Just like John Benet Ramsey. A fingerprint came up on a window or something. The window, I think. Something was there with a fingerprint. No, not deep enough. They're small. They're smudged. They're minute, what? Minute isn't complete. Yeah. Sorry, I don't know what that word is. I never use it. And as far as DNA goes, hair doesn't just fall off your head. That all depends how rough the killer is, or if a victim rips their head quick in an attack. So usually if someone fights like hell, like one of the girls did, they said, there should have been something there of hair too. But nothing. And you can see where the interest in this came to me. Fingernails don't just randomly snap off. Now the fingernail if they're long enough. I mean, I keep my fingernails like, like this because all my life, man, even my kids today, even some of my buddies back in the day, they could not, they would double knot their shoes or something, or they would get something tied up. They would always come to me because I'd keep my, I don't know, my nails like this. And I would keep them for that one purpose. For my friggin' shoes and shoelaces getting tied in a knot. Anything that got tied in a knot. You know, I'd have a lot of people that used to say, hey, take this out for me. And say, well, what the hell you think I am? And I thought we were friends. No, you use me to take knots out? But, I always kept my fingernails at a decent length so I could take out knots. And when the kids came along, oh, believe me, I used these fingernails like crazy with shoes, and they'll sit there and scream at me. It's like, what do you do this for? And yeah, it's frustrating. But, hey, fingernails sometimes come in handy. And it was something I did that another thing I use my fingernails for too. Hell, even washing dishes. But I noticed when they do get a little bit longer, I don't know if these girls, Libby and Abby, had long nails or, kept them a little bit long, but sometimes, and even my wife does it, they split easily. If you let them out too long. So that's a question about the girls. Was there any busted fingernails or any skin under the fingernails? It's just insane that none of this happened, but one girl supposedly fought. The only instance where you get a good DNA sample, in my experience, are when rape occurs without a condom, which we know the Delphi murders were supposedly not rape. When there's blood that doesn't belong to the victim, and very rarely when the victim fought and managed to get his skin cells under their nails. But even then, there needs to be a lot for it to be. Now that right there being said, it's just, if this is such weak evidence as this person's putting it, then why even put it out there? We have DNA, we have samples, we have blood, we have this. Why even do it when it's all going to come out BS? When it's all going to come out like this guy says. Not enough. There's not enough to cover the fingerprint. There's not enough to cover the blood. There's not enough to cover the skin cells under the nails. There's not enough. And this right there being said is what has happened in this case, and it's getting old to me. I think it's getting ridiculous to sit here and have all this evidence that they claim, and here you have a forensic file person telling you, some of this don't even work. Then that only goes to prove and show right what is really going on with the case. And it's, at this point, to me, it's pissing me off. Because, you got all this stuff. You got this stuff. And this person's saying it's not enough. And it's like, keep it to yourself. Next time you get something, keep it to yourself. Because nobody wants to hear this rubbish. No one wants to hear that. It's ridiculous. Not to be testable. But even then, there needs to be a lot to be testable. When it comes to DNA, it's usually hard to tell. If the DNA belonged to a perp, or if it belongs to literally anyone else the victim came into contact with. That being said, I don't think they have BG's DNA or Prince. I already figured that out because now they said they had it. Now they have all these, suspects. And all the suspects have came and they have gone. And was this person's claiming, I feel there was animal hair at the scene. And that's the DNA they have. Now that we know this new Cadwell trained his dogs to attack. So Mr. James over here training his dogs got the 9-year-old sucked in. If he did use them to these girls, and now that we know, training, and they attacked the 9-year-old multiple times, I'm even more inclined to believe that the DNA they have belongs to the dogs. I strongly doubt they have BG's DNA. If they did, a genealogist would have been hired by the FBI now and that's what I said in my last video. There's a case that's been done, and there has been multiple cases done with genealogists solved, and this one ain't done yet. Just my 2 cents. But here's where it gets good. Because if he did use his 2 dogs that day at the Delphi murder crime scene, there is only one scenario he could have done. Because remember, there was no witnesses there to see Bridge Guy. So if there was no witnesses there to see Bridge Guy, that means there was no dogs there that day. Or, like he did, he waited in the woods. I'm about to wonder if there was a dog attack. The only way he could have done that was tie them dogs to where he was going to bring the girls to the trees and tell them to sit and wait. But then you got people saying that Bridge Guy might have been in the search. And I don't know, because if he brought 2 dogs or a dog in the woods, I don't even know if I can say, how rowdy them dogs are. Because, a lot of dogs, if they get left alone, don't get me wrong though, if it is trained, that dog will sit there and whine and whimper. Especially being out in the nowhere. Being out in the woods. And, this thought and theory and this idea of a dog's hair being there, it could be the only one thing I can think of and say, in my opinion, my thoughts, theories, ideas, that he tied him to the tree. Or unless he had dog hairs on his clothes and rubbed them up against off the girl's clothes, and that's how they got that. But who would want to bring 2 dogs if he had a gun? He's already got the girls under control with the gun. What does he need dogs for? And I think for a fact, if he set them girls in certain positions, get this, I don't think the dogs would have sat there and, just want to just watch him do something. I think they would be excited by him coming back. Hey! Happy to see him. And jumping and doing everything all over him. Or better yet, just sitting there staring at the 2 girls like, who you got for us? I mean, don't get me wrong. I wasn't there. These are thoughts, theories, ideas. This is not the truth. These are just opinions, my thoughts, theories, ideas. And it's like, yeah, what? Why is someone bringing up dog hair? It's just insane. Bear with me, I'll be right back. So anyways, I was saying, wow, what, If dogs were brought that day, how were they not noticed by anybody? But then again, no one saw as a witness bridge guy, period. So, I mean, this is just another person's, thoughts, theories, ideas of their own. Um, it's insane what the hell, people come out with. I mean, this being a forensic files person, don't get me wrong, I'm sure they've helped solve some cases, or let alone did have some good stuff in here, but this one right here about talking about the dog being there, they have dog hair. I mean, only it being stuck to the clothing of the guy. I mean, if that is the case, and there is dog hair, why ain't they went to James Coswell's or Cadwell, whatever, Jerkface's house, and took samples from the dogs? Because if there was dogs hair from him, there's something right there, right there. It should already been solved, already been looked at, already been, bang. But, nope. Here we are, still sitting waiting. And this person's, talking about dog hairs and whatever. It's just insane. So, with that being said, be safe, take care, always beware, because Bridget Guy is still out there. So as I was saying, be safe, take care, always beware, because this guy is still out there. And with everything said like this, being out there and all this stuff, even dog hairs, if there's dog hairs, why can't these dogs be captured? Or let alone, investigated on, if that's the case. Whatever it is, it's out there, people. It's just frustrating. And it's making me just pissed off, because, yeah, we're sitting there, we're waiting. It's ridiculous. It's just crazy. And this person's saying that this is what they think is out there. Then why hasn't it been all looked at yet? And why ain't it out there to the public? Even though this person seems to think that something's there, but it's just not getting covered. Oh, man. Till the next video, folks. Be safe. Out.